Thanks, Rob. Tēnā koutou katoa, talofa lava. Good morning, everyone. My name's Chris, and about 4 months ago, Ivan gave me a call and said, can you come and help? We've got an engagement assignment. And as things have played out, it's been 4 months now, and in a week, Monday week, I'll be starting full-time in a job. I haven't had a job for a long time. I've been an independent facilitator, and I know many of you in this room from many assignments that I've had. So it's a real privilege to be here with you. When it comes to the engagement principles, what's happened over the last 4 months is many of us here have had coffee conversations. We've met individually, we've met in groups, and this was an opportunity to have a bigger conversation. And I wanted to share with you what emerged from the sort of 3 months of conversations as a logical set of guiding principles for engagement within the organisation. And the first one being putting people and communities at the centre of what we do. And it's people because many of us know individuals who are very isolated and vulnerable in the area that we are talking about, the Avon River corridor. So those who are living in that area and in properties adjacent to or close to those areas. And communities, well, what is a community? A community might be a place-based community. It might be a community of affiliation or a community of practice. There are lots of different definitions, but we're trying to be as broad as possible. And if we can identify a community, that means that we're then able to connect and engage with that community. So I think we're very much on a divergent path to try and identify who and how we can engage with those people and communities. We've been encouraged strongly to listen first, then act. Start where our communities are at, because we have just a myriad of communities who are all in different places. And I'm mindful that this morning we've got lots of communities that connect into this room. There are many that do not. And so I'm also very keen to try and understand who's missing from the conversation and how can we connect with them. Utilise local expertise, and for someone in the room, I heard a word about a month ago, inpertise. So expertise comes from the outside, inpertise comes from the inside. So when I say local expertise, I'm also thinking that. So there's a thought bubble in my head. To utilise local expertise, knowledge and networks to help create collective responsibility and to build momentum. So it's not a linear process. I see this as something that's going to have a shape of its own. And I'm not sure what that looks like. But I think between us, we'll be able to form a better idea of what that shape is. To be brave, honest, resourceful, visible, and respectful. And you might look at each of those words or listen to those words and think, well, what does that mean? It'll mean different things to different people. For those of us who have been involved in these conversations, they are words that people have really resonated with. To encourage a culture of inclusion and participation by reflecting diversity and promoting equity and accessibility. Again, there's a lot that you could connect into that. I think it reflects a strategic intent in terms of engagement, that this is about everyone, and the legacy commitment, the responsibility on us. I'm really glad we've got a number of young people in the room today, because I don't know what the timelines look like, but at some point in the future, there'll be people sitting in rooms saying, how well did they get it right back in 2016? So they are the engagement principles that we have. I hope that they resonate, but if there is anything that you think might be missing, this is iterative. There were lots of versions that led to what we currently have now. And likewise with this model, which was a way of trying to make sense of pulling together the many diverse communities that we have. Business and commercial interests, academic sector, philanthropic, media, scientific, utilities and infrastructure. We've got a number of organisations, some who are named in the Act. So if you've read the Act, you'll understand why some of these organisations are here. Down the bottom, we have the regeneration agencies that are named in the Act. But also, as we go around up to about 9 o'clock, these are all of the statutory government agencies that will need to come together for this. We've got other government interests in this circle here. And then at the top, it's what we've called and been encouraged to refer to as the social groups and networks that make up our big community. And we've put them at the top deliberately because we should be there as stewards, as kaitiaki guardians, and the heavy lifting should be done here. So if you can picture that, you've probably worked out I'm a visually preferenced person, and that's how I see things. But what we have at the centre, we have 4 things. We have our people and communities at the centre of everything we do. So this is to try and reflect that first principle. And it was really cool just floating around the tables, seeing that consistent thread through your conversations about people and communities. And what we have slightly faded, we've referred to as values, but guiding principles, what we've talked about initially, that might be a better reference there. We have engagement and public participation. And we have regeneration, aspirations, and outcomes. And they will be different depending on whether we're talking about the first section of the River Corridor, or Brooklands, or South Shore, or a part of the central city. So we're mindful of the geography of what our task is.